ああ、いえ、あの格好じゃ仕方ないですよ。
痛み入ります。どちらへ？
冒険者ギルドへ。
行ってらっしゃいませ。
Generic is as generic comes. Today we're talking about I Became a Legend after my 10-year long stand, and this was super duper generic. And do not get me wrong, I do not mind generic anime. Sometimes some of my favorites are generic anime, and what generic means is basically they're a dime a dozen. There's tons of stories that are publicized. There's tons of web novels, webtoons, web mangas that are put out there. And these are stories that are a dime a dozen. They are just the majority of the stories. Very similar to how romance are done, to where it is girl dies in Korea, girl dies in Japan, girl dies in US, and then it's reincarnated and gets, a bloody, vicious, evil prince and, turns him around or wherever else. These are a dime a dozen type of stories. But the difference is there are generic anime that, even though they're generic, they're still fun, funny, and really good. This, my friends, was not it. I Became a Legend after my 10-year long stand. I do not recommend that you watch. So this specific anime is riddled with a ton of problems. The main thing is that, well, let me explain the story first, and then I'll tell you what the main problem. This story follows a character named Luck, and we get introduced to Luck and his friends, and they are off to defeat the Demon Lord's army. Through it all, because his friends have families, right? He doesn't. He's a single dude. His friends have families. He seals them off and says, I'm going to go take down this army alone. I just want you guys to live. He goes and he begins to fight the army. And one of his skills is a replication skill. So he's able to replicate the skills within distance, or maybe if it's done on him. They don't explain it, but he's able to replicate skills. He gets I was going to call it a sucking skill. He gets a skill that allows him to, what's the exact verbiage that they used? At the Drain Touch. He gets a skill named Drain Touch early on because he fights one of the Demon Lord's main people in their army, right? Like one of the generals. Through that, he's able to keep himself going and continue to replenish his mana. And he's able to sleep by using another skill, but he's just super OP, right? He's able to use another skill called Marionette, which as he sleeps, it keeps his body going. So he fights and fights and fights. And eventually he comes across the Demon Lord. And he doesn't know how long he's been fighting for, sleeping for, nothing. He's just fighting endlessly. He faces the Demon Lord, uses Drain Touch, and absorbs all the Demon Lord's essence and mana and vitality and everything, which causes him to then regress about 10 years in age. So he goes from like 24 to like 14, 13, something like that, okay? Little did he know that 10 years passed. So he basically enters like a coma after all this, after he's done. And he wakes up and 10 years have passed. And on the outside, his buddies are a king. His buddy is adventure guild leader. They have kids that have grown up, etc., etc. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. He comes back, and his friends recognize him. And what should happen after defeating the Demon Lord is they set him up with a noble title. They get him a haircut. They get him a waifu, maybe. They set him up in a big mansion and let bro retire and then slowly come back in. Maybe give him some orders to, do something crazy or something. But let bro rest. Instead, for whatever reason, he decides to just immediately, like day one, join the adventure guild and like, I'm just going to go take on adventures and start over. So immediately after fighting for 10 years, he's like, I'm going to go fight more. It makes no sense. It's just super generic for generic reasons. He catches the eye of his buddy's daughter, which I'm not even going to go into how I really feel or don't feel about it, but it looks like his buddy's daughter is practicing. It looks like he catches the eye of her. She blushes a little bit. He goes out to the Adventures Guild. He joins a random little party fighting goblins and monsters. And then at the end of the episode, there's like a little cat girl as well too, like a little beast girl. So essentially, my guess, he's going to get himself like a little harem of girls around his current age now, which is somewhere between 11 and 15, somewhere around there. And he's going to go on adventures with them and join them and, kind of re-go from F rank to S rank, once again, and do all that. And again, my main problem with all of that is because it kind of has him restart. It ends up just becoming a very generic fantasy anime where the character is just OP. you know? So it doesn't matter that he regressed. It doesn't matter that he defeated. It doesn't even matter. It just ends up basically starting over, and what happened doesn't really matter. It just kind of gives him a head start on everything. So that's where my problems start. Is like it's just so generic. He is a generic character. He basically has no personality. His personality is fighting. He's gonna get surrounded by girls just because, like, that's just what's gonna happen. He's gonna get hooked up with everything because his friends became ultra powerful. And it has no personality. So it's just really bad. So I cannot full-heartedly recommend it. I don't think it was very good. If you guys want to watch a better one, today I watched the first episode of an anime that's also fantasy. It's also generic, but it's also good. It's called The Frontier Lord Begins with Zero Subjects. That I highly recommend. It was fun, funny, and entertaining. And it was way better than this one. I think this one was a big stinker. It was a 5 out of 10 for me. Animation was very good. Story was kind of whatever. MC is pretty whatever. And he's going to get a little harem of girls for no reason. And then they're going to be of his age. So that's a whole thing. Again, it's fiction. It doesn't really bother me that much. But it's just weird that they have to do it that way. Like, did he really need to regress in age? Couldn't he just say, oh, I got my vitality. I sucked a vitality out of the Demon Lord. So now my lifespan has been extended, and he just ends up being the same age, his friend's age, but he stays in like 24. Did they need to make him 14 or 13, whatever it is? 5 out of 10 is where I landed for this episode. I do not recommend it. If you want to watch it, feel free. Let me know your final thoughts and comments down below. But this one is just, peace out, my friends. I'll see you for other summer anime.